Here are the 10 books I rated 5 stars for 2024. Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Our main character wakes up in the middle of space in a different galaxy, and slowly his memories come back to piece together why he's there and what his purpose is, which is actually to save the world. I did not know that I could like space books before I read this. 5 star. Next we have Iron Widow by Ziran J. Zhao. This is a young adult sci-fi novel which I did not realize was young adult. I love young adult books that the only reason you can tell it's young adult is because of the main character's age. This was so well written. If you like badass female main characters that actually skew towards unlikable, I definitely recommend this. In this world, women are kind of used to help pilot these giant mech things, and to pilot them, the men ended up killing the women in these concubine kind of roles. Our main character doesn't like this and wants to avenge the death of her sister, so she signs up to kind of slewer-side herself in this role just to get revenge on the original chrysalis pilots that killed her sister. Annie Bot by Sierra Greer was my favorite book of 2024 until I read The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean, but we'll get to this one later. We follow this AI robot type thing who was originally programmed to be a cuddle bunny, please men, you get the gist. But she slowly gains her humanity and she starts to get her own awareness and intelligence, and she realizes that she's actually in an abusive relationship with her owner. This is really good, especially considering where our world is going with AI, and I feel like something like this is not actually too far off. I find this very interesting, especially if you like kind of literary sci-fi and or books kind of like My Dark Vanessa. So speaking of my favorite book of 2024, we have The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean. If you are looking for mystical, magical creatures within a zoo and a phoenix keeper who is trying to revitalize the phoenix breeding program, yeah. Also, cannot keep from you the best part, it's Sapphic. Sapphic slow burn. Amazing. I really hope there's a sequel to this. We have Here for the Wrong Reasons by Annabelle Paulson and Lydia Wang. This is basically The Bachelor, but 2 contestants fall in love with each other instead of The Bachelor. Sign me up. Love. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig is a completed duology. The second one is Two Twisted Crowns. In this world, there's 2 types of magic. One is an acceptable form of magic where it's harnessed through these magical tarot cards that give different abilities. I believe there's about 12 of them. And then this other magic is seen as a sickness and illness, a plague across the lands in the mists. So anyone who is infected with this kind of magic gets or sent out into the mists. And there's a group of people who commandeer this main character to try and help complete a tarot deck to lift the mists and rid the land of this illness. It's very unique, cool. I've never experienced something like this, and I just loved it. It was so different for a fantasy novel. With The Wedding People by Alison Eastbach, I absolutely adored this. I got this arc in January, even though it came out in the summer. This adjunct professor goes to this hotel that she absolutely adores to unalive herself on her cat's medication. Instead, she crashes a wedding and meets the bride, who talks her out of the self-unaliving because she thought that that would ruin her wedding. So she takes part in this wedding and meets a whole cast of people, and it's a really interesting way to handle such a serious topic but have it be like light and sarcastic and funny. Onto a couple audiobooks. We have The Women by Kristen Hanna. This was my first Kristen Hanna book ever. We're following this one nurse who follows her brother into the Vietnam War as a nurse. Obviously not combat. This audiobook is phenomenal. I know it is historical fiction, but I literally learned more about Vietnam and the Vietnam War than I ever did in a history class. I definitely recommend this book. It was so good. Powerful, emotional. There's a lot of other kind of traumatizing and emotional aspects to this book that isn't solely the Vietnam War. I love a good cry in a book. I don't know. It was so good. Another audiobook I absolutely loved, that was another 5-star, was The Husbands by Holly Gramazio. This woman comes back from a bachelorette party one day and comes home to find there's a random husband in her house, but she's completely single and she doesn't know why this husband is there. She slowly finds out that every time she sends a husband up to her attic, the world changes and a different husband comes down. So she gets to experience all these different worlds and relationships by just having husbands come out of her attic. It's another one that reminds me of The Wedding People, of more kind of serious topics, but in such a literary fantasticism that is held in like a sarcastic but also like very comical way, but still leaves you examining all of these serious topics and interpersonal relationships. And this is what I love about literary fiction. This is what I want from every single literary fiction book, is both of the ones that I told you about, The Wedding People and this one. Finally, just because it is something I did rate 5 stars, and it is The Court of Mist and Fury from Reason's perspective. This is a piece of fan fiction that my friend bound for me. Obviously, don't spend money on fan fiction. This was 5 stars. I can't take that away because it was phenomenal. I got back into reading because of the ACOTAR series. The series meant the world to me, and I still absolutely love the books. However, I am no longer going to be publicly promoting or supporting SJM. For a long time, I wanted to give her benefit of the doubt because she has not made an official statement on Palestine or Israel. And a lot of people interpret House of Flame and Shadow as her realizing as a Jewish person that she is on the wrong side of history. However, she has not made a concise statement. So as a supporter of Palestine and the Palestinian people, I cannot in good faith still promote her book. So I am not going to do so until I see any kind of real response from her. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to make any kind of real meaningful response or statement on this. I just was hoping for the best and am disappointed that no statement has ever been made. So I'm making the conscious choice to no longer promote her or her works.